Hi, I have a great guys card for you here. Isn't this fun? It's got all your beer and pub stuff to it. So we're going to do a really fun background for it, and then we'll show you all the different things we've done to bring it to life. So a couple of dies. From the necessities, we have the 3 cheers set. And you've got the pub sign and the pitcher and the stein and a couple of phrases there. And we're going to be using the ovals from the double-stitched ovals to give it a frame. Okay. So first thing, we're going to create a background. Now what I've done is I've gone ahead and covered a piece of card with a sticky adhesive sheet. Always the hardest part. Let me just get the edge of that started. There we go. Peel that back. I'll tell you what, I'm going to move everything out of the way. I'm going to bring in the Summer Meadow Gilding Flakes. Okay, now this is probably going to be really full here. And I'm just going to pop a bunch of these down onto my background, which is that sticky adhesive. And you can kind of pick through and get some of the pretty colors you like. There we go. That'll start. And under here somewhere, there it is, piece of Rub It Scrub It. So this is what I like to use to adhere the flakes to the sticky adhesive sheet. Just sort of move them around. There we go. Now I've got a finger hold there. And just kind of push them into place, move them all across that adhesive. You can use some of those corners. I've actually got quite a bit on here. I probably didn't need quite that much, but oh well. And give it a good rub. Now use the little toothy part of this, Rub It Scrub It, to take away all the extra bits of this. There we go. Kind of work it off of that. What I forgot to do was put a piece of copy paper underneath me, so we are going to have to just sort of move them off the edge into the container. Let's see if I can manage this one. There we go. You can put those right back into the container. It's so full. But you've got a lovely background there. And we're not done yet. I'll tell you what, let me just take and give it a quick tidy in my workspace here. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring in the Tumbling Blocks 3D embossing folder and make sure I've got the right side up. I'll pop that into place like that. Bring my raspberry adapter in and remove the cutting plate. Put that down. There we go. Give it a quick run. Okay. You can see got some great texture on there, but I really want to bring that to life. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a black Soot Distress Oxide pad and I'm just going to run it across the top to bring that pattern out. Okay. I love the texture that gives. Now the other thing is that literally will not dry for ages and ages. So one of the ways around that is to heat emboss it with some clear embossing powder. So what I'm going to do is bring this over, pop that down, some clear embossing powder just over the top, and that kind of encapsulates it and seals it into place. Let's give it a good tap, and it will stick to absolutely the gilding flakes as well as the ink there. Okay. Put that back into our container. And we're going to bring our heat tool over. Let's put this away. And we're going to emboss this. There we go. Now don't forget, you've got a sticky adhesive sheet under there, so you don't want to melt that by leaving it too long. So I have to say I'm moving it a little more than I usually do, not staying in one place too long. I think that looks pretty good. Okay, give that a second to cool down because that's going to be good and hot. So I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll put a little bit of tape on this side because we're going to stick that right onto this piece here. Just kind of come in a little bit from the edge. Oops. That should be good and cool by then. One in the middle. Okay. And give that a little bit of a border all the way around. There we go. Pretty good. Okay, we'll come back to that in a second. So now I've done a bit of this ahead of time. We've got a pub sign. Now I cut this in black and I used a silver paint pen just to give it a little bit of a silver edge to it. And I've gone ahead and cut it again in white and just cut the actual signpost off. So that's the part I want to use at the moment. I'm going to bring in some distress markers. I've got Festive Berries. And I have chipped sapphire and black soot. So I'm going to start with the red. And I'm just going to use this fine tip, and I'm going to fill in the flag area back here. So I've got the little deboss sections that are red. I'm just going to sort of go through and fill those in carefully-ish. And get this one. So it kind of gives you a little bit to follow since that part's debossed. So that is probably the easiest. Okay, there we go. Go back in with the chipped sapphire. A little bit trickier because this part is embossed. Now you could probably put the die back on, but I actually find it a little easier to do it this way. So I'm just going to sort of go around the edge here when you take your time, but you can kind of get the idea. I've got some fossilized amber here, which is another of the distress oxide. So I'm going to use a little bit of that to fill in this part of the beer mug, as it were. A little tiny bit on the top there. I'm going to leave that for the moment. Now, what I'm going to do is bring this guy back over. Oops. And I'm going to trim the edge off of this. So I'm just going to sort of follow the edge of that curve around here and hand cut it. And I have to admit, I usually will use a little piece of sandpaper when I do stuff like this to kind of take some of the edges off of it so it's a little smoother, but I forgot to bring any, so we're just going to use it as is. And around here. So we're just taking off the outside edge of that, like that. I'm going to bring in a bit of glue here, and we're going to put it onto this so the black edge will show up nicely. Put it around the edges here. Okay. Put that right into place. And you can see where it'd be really nice if it was sanded along those edges. You wouldn't see the little bit of a edge I've left on there, but you get the idea. So come back to that for a second. Oh, I'll tell you what I'll do. White PVA glue. So I'm going to do a little bit of dots on this where like the foam on the beer would be, but I'll leave that, and I'll show you what I've done on both the pitcher and on the other mug. I've done the same exact thing. So I let it sit for a second, and then I brought in my heat tool. And I just did a little bit till it kind of bubbled. Whoop. Don't want to burn it, so that's why I'm kind of going up and down on it. Tell you what, get something that's very hot. There we go. See, just a tiny bit of bubble on it, so it looks a little bit more like foam. There we go. Now let that dry. I've done an oval frame here and then just backed it with white. So we're going to put that into the middle of our card. I'm going to bring back some glue here. Just glue that into the very center there. I'm going to give myself room at the top for my sentiment. Just bring it down just a hair bit. There we go. Very carefully, I'm going to try and put this into place. So I've got the sign here that's going to stick to that frame, and then that should offset it down into the frame. Right about like that. There we go. And I've gone ahead and done the pitcher and the other mug already with the glue, and I've heated that as well, so you can see how pretty that looks. I'll pop that down here just to the bottom and sort of offset it with the mug a little bit like that. Really like that. And the phrase comes in two different parts. It has "They say it's your birthday" and then 3 cheers. So I'm going to put the "They say it's your birthday" at the top. Use a bit of spray glue and a bit of regular glue here, just so we are sure it sticks really well. That should do it. And I've offset that with a little bit of a black shadow. There we go. Give that a second to set up. Now the 3 cheers is done connected like this, but what we want to do is put them on top of each other, so I'm going to just nip them apart. And I've actually got 2 of them already together here, so let's see if I can cut that nice and cleanly. There we go. And that looks like it just needs a tidy right there. And the same thing with the shadow. So I've got the black one cut as well. So I'm just going to follow the line of the C. There we go. Oops, sticky fingers. Hazard of the trade there. Using my spray glue. I'm going to offset the black one behind it to give it a shadow. Give that a second. And then do the other word. Oops. There we go. Give that a second, and then we'll seat these inside the frame. So I've got, in fact, let's just make sure we've got enough room there. I think we should be able to fit them both in here. So that won't push that one down yet. Pop this one in place. Give that a second. And pop that right back into place a little bit. Hold on. There we go. All that glue will set up, and you have a lovely card that any recipient would love. And you know those guys cards, they are really difficult, so I think this is a really fun one. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Don't forget, look at our YouTube channel.